My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. A show about talking ponies going on magical adventures while learning everything about friendship and teaching us valuable lessons in the process. What else can I say about this show that hasn't been said already? Nothing. Everything about it is already 20% cooler enough as it is. Facts right there. So for those who are new here and just stumbled upon this video at random, yes, I am indeed a brony. I've always been one and will always remain one. No questions asked. Anyways, yeah. You know, it's kind of crazy if you think about it. It's literally been 14 years since the show first aired back in 2010, and yet it feels like it's only been 6 to 7 years. That right there, everyone, shows that time does indeed fly by fast. It's crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room with ponies. No! Then again, it's also quite surprising how a show originally aimed at little girls for its demographic had such a massive appeal to older audiences. I mean, to this day, the fandom is still really active despite the show ending its run back in 2019, with many young fans, such as myself, growing up to be brony influencers. Heck yeah! With that being said, however, today's video is going to be a little bit different compared to the previous anniversary videos I've made. Normally, I would do a little montage of everything from the past to the present, or a song cover / parody to commemorate this occasion, but for this one, I want to take a step back from that and focus on something else. What's that, you may ask? Well, you see, MLP has had quite a big impact on my life, and today I'd like to share my story on that. A story of how I became a brony and how it made me a better person as time went on. But before I get to tell you all about my journey though, I actually have some guests here who like to explain their first experiences and how they hold up with the show to this day. So without further ado, let's get on with it.
Wait a minute. I'm in a Yenny video. You know, I should have expected this, coming from a massive brony like Yenny. Anyways, hi, yes, I am Lab. I am the one that does a lot of the render work on this channel. Yeah, hi. So, I don't talk about MLP much on my channel. I don't even show it that much. I mean, I've only shown it like twice, and one of them is literally deleted. The other one's still up on my channel, I think. It's the ASDF movie plush edition that I did with Cody years ago. Yeah, I used the MLP plush of that in that thing, but regardless. Yeah, MLP to me is interesting, because it's like, it wasn't a show I was extremely invested in. In fact, I only remember watching like the first episode when it first came out. But not the first episode, it was, I think it was the third episode actually. I remember watching that when it came out, and that's literally all I remember about MLP before, like, 4th grade, where I would just watch one episode again, and then that was it. Except for a couple of years later, where I did actually binge watch what was on Netflix at the time, which I believe was up to season 5 at the time, but I think that's just what was listed on Netflix and not what was actually going on with the show at the time, because I think at that point it was going on in season 6. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I didn't hear about MLP after that binge watch until, again, years later, where I was looking through Twitter and saw that the show was ending, and I'm like, oh, wait, it's still going on? Surprised it's ending now. I thought it ended years ago. And that was that. That was all I heard until I met probably the biggest brony I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay, aside from Tag, but then again, I don't think Yenny has a shrine to one of the ponies, so I don't, kind of equal, I'd say, on the brony scale here. But yeah, Yenny kind of got me back into the series, at least a little bit. I haven't like binge watched the whole series yet. I know there's like 9 seasons and there's no way I'm gonna get past all that. But I do remember a lot of joy when I was watching the series. Even when I was young, I still remember at least feeling something. I felt something, because usually when I watch TV, back when I was younger, I would just turn my brain off and just watch it. Except for like very certain shows, but yeah, MLP was one of those ones that just kind of kept my engagement almost. But yeah, MLP was a fun little series, I think, and it was definitely a good. It's hard for me to be sentimental about this thing, because honestly, I didn't grow up with it that much. Like, compared to Wander Over Yonder or Gravity Falls, I just didn't really grow up with it all that much. But I still have appreciation for this series, and I do think that Gen 4 is probably the best one of the bunch. So Yeah, happy 14 years, MLP, I guess. You know, I was expecting Yenny to, like, blow me up or something.
I've become a Stan user. I don't remember the exact way I got involved into My Little Pony. I think out of curiosity I did look into it a tiny bit, and then I just wasn't interested. Discord, from what I could tell, was a pretty interesting character. And I think Pimations mainly was what I knew of My Little Pony before I actually watched My Little Pony. And oddly enough, I guess it was surprisingly interesting, and I wasn't expecting it to hold up pretty well in terms of quality and storytelling. And the whole Magic and Friendship thing, I guess, seemed kind of cringe to me at the start, and then surprisingly just kind of stuck, which I guess was the point of the show, and then it just kept... I guess it somehow didn't lose... It didn't get too repetitive. It got creative with how it handled that plot point, I guess. That's the best way I can put it. Yeah, honestly, I guess I don't mind My Little Pony anymore, and I think it's pretty alright in terms of a cartoon show. And I can definitely respect the fandom and respect the content that they pour out in love of the series entirely. So yeah, I guess I can pretty much enjoy the show overall. So yeah, I look forward to seeing what other content people can make.
Why, hello there, Metaverse Travelers! My name is Gman Luigi, and I'm here after so long.
I first got into My Little Pony back in the early 2010s, and it was kind of just like a no-brainer move, because I had nothing else to watch, and I was like, you know what? Everyone else is watching this, might as well give it a try. And it's kind of changed a lot for me. It's kind of showed that I can really like things that most people would assume you can't like.
Chicken.
When MLP premiered on October 10th, 2010, I was just going into high school, and that was a stressful time for me. MLP was actually something I watched when I got home, and whenever a new episode released, I watched it whenever I could and became a fan from the show there on out. I actually voted to a few characters of the main six, and they were Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy. They were positive and uplifting characters. All the songs were run very well, and I would sing them whenever I could. Ever since the very first songs, which was Pinkie's Laughter song and Fluttershy's Some May Wonders from later in season 1, made me realize that I relate to them because I love animals as well, and I try to make people laugh when I can. The show holds up with me today because even though it's over, I still love the lessons from the characters, and it teaches me that everyone has flaws and they are not perfect. I still watch the show today even though the show ended 5 years ago. Well, 6 as of October 12th. But it is fun to watch and it makes me smile whenever I do watch it. Thank you, My Little Pony, for the fun and exciting memories.
And finally, that remains one person to tell their story. The person in charge of making this video and putting everything together.
Discord.
Wait, Discord? What are you doing here? Get out! Sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, I guess it's my turn to explain my experience with the MLP fandom. But first, let me set the scenery. There we go. So, where do I start? Well, if anything, I would have to start from the very beginning. So, here it goes. It was the year 2011 in September. I was either 6 or 7 at the time, as I can't remember if it was before or after my birthday. And yes, before you all ask, I was around that age when I first joined the fandom. Crazy?
I think not!
Given my age at the time, it made complete sense for me to join in at the time. I was a little kid, deal with it. So anyway, I was returning home one day from school, and as I was putting all my stuff away, I was looking at the TV when an episode of MLP was airing. I still remember to this day what episode it was. It was Stairmaster, with no doubt. It was at the part where the CMC were in the Everfree Forest looking for a runaway chicken when they encountered the cockatree rising out of a bush. And while I was pretty terrified by that, I was immediately hooked with the show and began watching more episodes. Those were the memories. Dang it, Treehouse, why did you have to remove it? Ever since then, my interest in MLP has grown quite strong, and whenever a new episode dropped, I quickly hopped onto the channel it was airing on and focused hard on it. Not only that, but I was learning a lot from the lessons that some of the episodes were teaching me, and I really appreciated that. I mean, the Bab Seeds episode helped me to stand up for myself. That's how much it worked. And it was like that for some time. Until I started growing older. I'm not saying that I dropped out of the fandom or anything, nothing like that at all. But as the years went by, I started involving myself in other fandoms that I was getting into, like FNAF for example. And since I was moving around from fandom to fandom, my interest in MLP was slowly dying down. Not only that, but around that time, I didn't really tell a lot of people that I was a fan of MLP, afraid that I'd get judged for it. So I became what was known as a closeted brony at the time. I will say that my interest did come back for some time when I was 13, but other than that, everything was pretty much at a point where the appeal wasn't there for me anymore. And it would have remained like that until May of 2021. Before I continue further, I do want to mention that around late 2020 to early 2021, I was in a pretty rough place at the time. I guess due to COVID still having a big impact on everything and schools being shut down, my procrastination was really taking a hold of me. I was doing badly in most of my classes, I was being disobedient to my parents, and everything was just out of place for me. I didn't know why I was being like this, but at the same time, I didn't care. I just wasn't doing that great overall and was scared that it would remain like that. But then in May of 2021, while I was in one of my online classes, I was just scrolling through YouTube like I usually do until I came across a video by the YouTuber That Space Pony on the complete timeline of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. By then, I wasn't really thinking that much about MLP anymore, so seeing that video randomly pop up, I decided to give it a watch because why not? And let me just say this right now, watching that video was honestly the best decision that I've made. As soon as I watched the video, I was immediately flooded with memories of my fondness for MLP. I couldn't take my eyes off the video, I was literally stuck there. It was like reality just smashed me in the face. Even when my online class was ending for the day, I didn't click off. I was just so focused on the video that my teacher had to literally remove me from the call. I didn't care though. I was clearly enjoying watching the MLP timeline. After finishing, I went over to the living room, opened up Netflix, and began doing a full-on MLP marathon. Not even joking. I just sat there, glued my eyes onto the screen, and simply watched. I didn't even watch everything in order. I was clearly letting my ADHD go all over the place while experiencing more memories I had of the show. And then, just like that, after watching the season 4 finale, I collapsed onto the floor and broke down. After that day, my fondness for MLP grew back significantly. I realized that MLP really meant a lot to me and that I shouldn't have pushed it away all those years ago. So, after some idea planning and gathering up everything I needed, I decided to work on my very first MLP video, which ended up being my first ever audio drama, My Little Pony Into Another World. The memories. As time went on, things were really working out for the better. I was able to improve my content, meet new people and creators, and overall, taking care of myself. In fact, me and my friends, who you all saw in this video, were able to create a group together and use it to collaborate on future projects we have. We called each other the Robotic 6. Or well, the Robotic 7 technically, since we do have a 7th member, but that's a story for another day. It was all thanks to MLP and what the show has done for us. While the fandom has shown some ups and downs throughout the years, we as a community here have grown quite strong nonetheless, allowing us to express our creativity and make memorable projects that we all know and love. Whether it's through song or animation, the fun we get will always last. Cause in the end, with everything that the show has brought us, and all the joy and laughter that we've gotten all these years later, is that no matter what, that friendship is magic.